Hey, thanks for tuning in to this first edition of my video podcast, which I've named Vodcast. I don't know if that's a word or not, but if it is, I just go on record as saying I claim the copyrights to it right now. It's kind of funny that this first edition comes from the place I grew up in. This is the home that I grew up in, really from the time I was 12 years old until I moved out to go to college. My parents bought this house when I was 12, which was 33 years ago, on Winville Drive in Columbus, Georgia. I'm sitting at the kitchen table that I grew up at, eating so many meals with my family, surrounded by furniture that I've seen since I could first recall anything, and looking out the kitchen window here that peers into the backyard where I spent many an hour playing and on some great adventures as a boy and as a teenager. And got a lot of fond memories being back here for a couple of days, being able to spend a couple of days here in this house with my mom. There are also some very painful memories, but the old expression is true, be it ever so humble, there's no place like home. Coming home brings a sense of comfort and security to you. And maybe you grew up in a dysfunctional home and you never had a real good home life. Encoded in all of our DNA is a desire for home. God put that in us. And there's an eternal desire inside of your heart to one day go home as well. You see, the reality is we will spend eternity in one of two places. James says our life is but a vapor. The older I get, the more I realize just how very short this life is. And one day we will be faced with the reality of heaven or hell. Now, there's a longing in your heart to spend eternity in heaven. Nobody longs to spend eternity in hell unless they have some misconstrued idea that it's just going to be one big party. But we long for heaven. And there's a guarantee that we can know that we're going to spend eternity in heaven. It's not by good works or by giving a lot of money. It's not by obeying some religious do's and don'ts. We can know for sure that we're going to spend eternity in heaven by asking Christ into our heart, living a life of obedience to Him, declaring Him as Lord and Savior, and living in a personal relationship with Christ, which is a big difference from just having religion. Now, our hearts long for home, and there is something that's comforting and securing about being home. So my challenge to you today is just to be sure you know that one day you're going to be home. Eternity is a long, long time. And there is no place like the home that God is preparing for those who live in obedience to Him to one day spend eternity in heaven. Hey, I hope to see you there. I hope you have a blessed day.